Well, apparently, idiots like me have a certain amount of influence in the world of Hollywood, at least according to many in the mainstream media who are looking for ways to cope with the cancellation of The Acolyte. As a lifelong consumer of pop culture entertainment, I would have thought it was the bad writing, the bad directing, the bad acting, and the inclusion of identity politics that led to the very bad ratings that got this show canceled. I would have thought it was the fact that Disney spent $200 million on a series that is destined to lose them almost all of that money that got this show canceled. I would have thought that instead of putting people who actually cared about the intellectual property, people who were fans themselves, Disney gave control to a feminist activist and the former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein the opportunity to craft a story based on her sexual identity fantasies of lesbian covens fighting against the patriarchy. That was a reason the show got canceled. Because let's face it, lesbian witches are not really your core audience when it comes to Star Wars. I know, I've been to the conventions. Lesbian witches are a very minute percent of the population of any fandom. These are the reasons I would have thought got the Acolyte the axe in such a public and embarrassing manner. But unfortunately, I cannot see what these mainstream media outlets see because I am burdened with the heavy yoke of logic and common sense. I could not see that it was online racism. It was online bigotry. It was online toxic fandom. It was YouTubers not being fair. It was conservatives. And according to Screen Rant, it's also Lucasfilm's fault for being handcuffed by the limited viewpoints of the people who work there, which is a new one. I like that. Now Lucasfilm is racist, bigoted, homophobic. I mean, welcome to the club. We have jackets. How could I have been so blind? Is there anyone even buying this crap anymore? Look, The Acolyte failed because The Acolyte was terrible entertainment. It wanted to be a social message, a political statement, a rallying cry for feminists and lesbians the world over, except it sucked. It was just plain awful. It's great when entertainment has a message. I believe all art should be allowed to insert social messaging into its aesthetics. It's the way it's always been, from the time of the Greeks to Dante to Shakespeare all the way to modern times, but entertainment must first be entertaining. Otherwise, all you have is a message and no one wants to pay money or spend their spare time being lectured to and being bored at the same time. But everything I just said did not matter when it came to The Acolyte. That series was destined to fail before it even hit streaming. Even before the series premiered, we were bombarded with interviews from cast and crew that were just train wrecks.
So my character, you know, she's a powerful leader. She's a powerful leader. Yes. In a very woman-centered world, which I was very excited to kind of be that, because I feel like Star Wars is very like patriarchal, so it was kind of cool to have like this sort of woman-centered figure.
What the hell are you doing?
Somebody has to save our skins. Into the garbage, flyboy. No! Captain.
And for some reason, not many of the cast and crew understood the world that they would inhabit. That is Star Wars, the lore, the values, the message. The majority of the talk about the show revolved around female empowerment and just how gay the show was.
I want to ask you both, because this is, I would say, arguably the gayest Star Wars, I think, by a considerable margin. And are you excited about that? Are you bracing yourself?
Star Wars. Not the
It's pretty gay, let's be honest. Leslye, how do you feel?
Am I gay? Yes.
Well, no, I know
Yeah.
you are gay, but I'm asking, are you excited about putting this, this is going to be a talking point?
Is it going to be a talking point?
I'm sure some.
Because nerds are gay.
Well, some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true. But
Yeah.
in my world, nerds are gay.
Okay. Was this the fun element of...
No, I don't think so. And yet people have told me that it's the gayest Star Wars, and I'm frankly...
You're offended?
Into it. No.
I think that Star Wars is so gay already.
Okay.
I mean, have you seen the fits? We'd be like, look how gay this is, and then send each other a reference photo.
And are you telling me, with a straight face, that C-3PO is straight?
They're a couple. That's what I think. But this is more outward.
I think it's canon that R2-D2 is a lesbian.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
First off, let's get this whole female empowerment thing out of the way. George Lucas, the actual creator of the whole thing, has repeatedly stated over the decades that Princess Leia and Queen Amidala are the heroes of Star Wars. They are the ones who are smart, making decisions, giving direction and motivation to all the other characters, and they get involved in combat situations just like the men. They are fearless and they are leaders. But, for some reason, this is not acknowledged by the current Hollywood establishment, which begs the question, why is Princess Leia and the Queen not regarded as examples of female empowerment? Is it because this new generation of activist creators cannot build something unique or new without tearing down what came before because they're jealous they did not get there first? Is it because the current ideology of progressive activism is not a productive one, but a destructive one? Is it because there are still traditional feminine qualities apparent in the women of the past, and that just pisses some people off? Is it because they're not gay enough? And yeah, there were cries of that with The Acolyte. Some critics complained that it did not go far enough into the LGBTQ philosophy. And now those same people are mad because they think Disney caved into hate. No, Disney didn't cave into hate. They caved into not wanting to lose any more money. Hate had nothing to do with it. And speaking of being bigoted, that argument doesn't hold any water either. On one side, you have Hollywood activists screaming for product that is geared toward, made for, and filled with messaging to a certain segment of the population, mostly being the LGBTQ community. Okay, that's fine. You can make that type of content. I have no problem with that. If you have the money and you want to spend it on that and think it's a great investment and a great use of resources, then I say go for it. It's a free world. But when these same activist creators do this, make something that is not for me or others like me, because we are not members of that community, and then I don't watch it, I'm to blame for its failure? Look, if I made a movie that was filled with traditional gender roles, something that you would see in like the late 50s, and then I came out and said that this movie is specifically made for traditional males and traditional females, and then the LGBTQ community did not come out to support my movie, spend their money and time on it, how the hell could I be mad at them? Shouldn't these activists be mad at the community they made it for in the first place? The targeted audience who also did not bother to show up? I would think so. But again, I'm burdened by the great weight of common sense and logic. Instead, what we have is this lunacy that we see now. Here's the reality of it all. Most people go to see a film or watch a show because of a few reasons. 1, they're interested in the premise of the story. 2, they like the actors or the director who's making said story. Or 3, it's marketed so well there's a fear of missing out on the part of the general public. The Acolyte had none of these. The majority of Star Wars fans were not interested in intersectional feminism as the basis of a new Star Wars chapter. The actors and the director-writer Leslye Headland are not looked upon favorably based on how they come across in interviews and press junkets. And lastly, the show was marketed terribly, mostly because it was marketed by the actors and director who are not looked upon favorably, as well as being touted as the platform for social messaging, specifically that the Acolyte is the gayest Star Wars ever, and that finally females will have their turn to rule the galaxy far, far away, which again, as we've already talked about, is utter nonsense because females have been ruling it all along. And if that was not enough to sandbag the Acolyte as a profitable and popular show, I can say this, after watching every episode, it was just plain terrible. It was not a good show. It was poorly produced on almost every level. It was not engaging. It was not entertaining. It was a slog to get through. The supporters of the show and the ones who made it will just have to accept that they made something so bad that it will negatively impact the business as a whole for years to come.
That is why you fail.
And that is why The Acolyte was canceled. And that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are you upset that The Acolyte was canceled? If you did watch it, what did you think of the series? And do you think YouTubers are the reason why Hollywood cancels projects? And if you want more pop culture reviews and fun, check out my playlist for general movie reviews and retro movie reviews by clicking on the links in the description below. And if you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you leave a comment, hit the like, subscribe, and share it out with your friends. It really helps out the channel each week. I thank you for listening. Remember, I'm still your reluctant gringo from south of the border. Salute, and a huevo.